Right, time of goods. Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. The WSL is back and today we've got another big derby. Last weekend Chelsea took on Arsenal in the London derby, but today we go one step further with the Manchester derby, and this one feels even more important because for one side in Manchester City this could see them stay top of the league, and for the other, for Manchester United, well, they have to win today to stay in any realistic contention for the title race. So well, last weekend was against a team top of the league against a team fifth. This is between two top sides, so it should be a very interesting game today. It's been a fiercely competitive derby over the last few years, and while history has preferred Manchester City in this game, more recent history has gone the way of United. Last season we saw two meetings between the two sides, of course, in the Women's Super League, and one was a draw, the other a Manchester United win. And in the last four meetings, all four of them have seen at least 4 goals or more. So this is always a very dramatic game. This is always a big and fiercely contested derby. So I'm massively looking forward to it. And lovely to see so many people in the live chat so early. Should be a great game today. Gaston watching the stream says, derby almost starting. Manchester is red. Well, that is what is for contest today. Will Manchester be red or will Manchester be blue? It's going to be interesting. As I say, 4 points split the two sides. By the end of the day, that could be 1 point, that could be 4 points, or that could be as many as 7 points. So it does feel that despite the fact that this is really important for City, in the context of being able to stay ahead of Chelsea, and context obviously them being able to lead the title race, this is arguably more important for United just to stay in contention. Because if they lose today, they could see themselves drop behind either Arsenal or Tottenham if there is a winner tomorrow. And suddenly, what looked like such a positive start to the season falls apart because of two fixtures. And that was Villa last weekend where they lost, and then today if they are to lose. So it almost feels that despite obviously everything on the line for City today, it's arguably more important a game for Manchester United. Should be a good one though. Nigel, welcome to the stream as well. He is very nervous for this game. I've seen the messages throughout the live chat just before we were going live. Nigel looking nervous but excited for today's game. I think that will be the feeling throughout. Let's get into the lineups then. We'll start with the host, Manchester City, as of course we are at the Etihad Stadium in Manchester. So we'll start with City. It is a 4-2-3-1 for Jeglertz's side. In goal, Ayaka Yamashita, unsurprisingly keeping her place. City, though, have had a problem with clean sheets this season, and keeping one today could be important for the win. In the back four, it's captain Kirsten Kasperai stepping up as the leader in the absence of Alex Greenwood, alongside Rose, Nak and Uwahabi. In the pivot, it's been very successful this season with Yui Hasegawa alongside Laura Blinkilde-Brown, with Viviana Miedemar playing in the 10 ahead of them. On one wing, it's Ayoba Fagino. On the other, the return of Lauren Hemp. And through the middle, the WSL leading goal scorer, Khadija Shaw. It's a very strong side for Manchester City today. I think there is no doubt about that. I think what I find interesting about this City team, though, is that they don't rotate a lot. And I think that could have an impact later in the season, but right now it's not. The fact they don't rotate a lot is helping them a lot because they're building that continuity, they're building that understanding and that familiarity. And I think that, especially with it being Jeglertz's first season, I think that's been really important. And yeah, they've been excellent so far this season, City. I think their biggest problem has been defensively, especially defending transitions. I think when you look at the way that you look in the way they've conceded this season, a lot of the times it's on those fast breaks, and they've only kept one clean sheet in the league all season. You compare that to Manchester United today, who are arguably, well, probably a slightly worse attacking side than City, but the difference is they're excellent defensively. And that's what proved so vital when these two met at the Etihad Stadium back in January. So it'll be interesting to see the impact that has today, whether once again United's defensive solidity can pay dividends and be more important than City's strength coming forwards. Let's take a look though at that Manchester United side though, because there are some interesting selections, some players out through injury. I think that is arguably the more interesting 11. In goal, no Fallon Thomas-Joyce for Manchester United. I feel that is an absolutely crucial loss for United. She's been so important to the way they play. She's been so important to keeping clean sheets. And yes, Sophia Middleton-Patel came in on Wednesday night. She did a brilliant job against Paris Saint-Germain. But equally, PSG didn't create a load of chances. And when they did, when you look at that PSG front line, it's a lot of inconsistent attackers. What Middleton-Patel has got to do today is keep a clean sheet against the side who are the best in attack in the league. They create the best opportunities, they create the most opportunities, and they score the most goals. There's no other metrics to look at attacking success. They are brilliant coming forward as Manchester City. So that is something that United have got to bear in mind today. And I think protecting Middleton Patel is really important, because I don't think she is a top-level goalkeeper. I think she's fine as a backup, but this is a big test. Her third senior appearance, I believe, for Manchester United. She made one appearance in the League Cup last season. She played on Wednesday night in the Champions League. Other than that, she hasn't played much senior football, especially for a club like Manchester United. So this is a big test for Middleton Patel. If she can step up to it, that's going to be brilliant for United and huge for her confidence. My doubt, though, there is that doubt that she doesn't step up today, because this is such an important game of football, and I just don't know if she's at the level required. We'll have to see, but could be a big problem for Manchester United. They'll hope it isn't. As for the backline then, Riviere, Laetitia, Janssen and Sandberg. No surprises there. Pretty much what they've stuck with the entire season. There was a slight doubt around Sandberg's fitness, but she did play on Wednesday night and is fit to start. Janssen, a big rest for her on Wednesday. Obviously, that was forced through suspension, but that does mean that she may be slightly fresher, which I think is really important alongside Maya Laetitia, who has looked really tired. In the midfield pivot then, it's Ziggy Otiolma and Hinata Miyazawa. Those two have had a great connection, so that's no surprise there. On the right-hand side, Jess Park. On the left-hand side, Leah Galton makes her first start of the campaign with 2 in the 10. And leading the line, it is Elizabeth Turland. This is an interesting attack. I think it's not Galton's first start, sorry. She hasn't played loads of football, though, but she did have a couple games. Oh, no, I think it is her first start of the campaign. I was right on that one. And that is a big call. We've seen her fleetingly. I think she did have some injury concerns coming into the campaign. Obviously, as well with Bizet, who was fit, now is out injured, and Rolfo coming in, and Mallard able to play on the left-hand side. That is a lot of competition. So we have seen Galton's minutes reduced anyway. Starting this game is a big call from Skinner. It's the kind of call that makes or breaks a game like this. Either Galton comes in and performs to that top level. She's motivated by the fact that this is her opportunity to really stake a claim to a place in this side. This is her chance, or she isn't at the required level, and that lets United down today. But I think it is a big call. I like it, though. She's going to hold the width well on that left-hand side. Obviously, we expect Toon then to drift into that left half space, Park to come across into the right half space, and that gives Riviere then that freedom to overlap on the right-hand side. We know that's how United are going to attack today. What intrigues me is why United have set up in this way, because United are almost building like they want to be possession dominant in this match, whereas actually what I would have expected from Manchester United, and what I still do expect despite this, is that they'll let City have a lot of the ball. They'll look to press them aggressively, look to generate high turnovers, and then create chances from there. So I am slightly intrigued by the lineup. I think Turland, the choice there, the reason they've gone for that is that Turland is a better presser than Melvin Mallard, and this is the debate, which I didn't really mention enough, I don't think, on my Friday preview. But you look at United's striking options today. Melvin Mallard is much better, I think, than Elizabeth Turland in terms of that transitional pace, being a direct striker, wanting to get in behind. Turland can still do it, but I think Mallard's better at that. But what Turland offers you is a fantastic presser, and alongside Ella Toon, I think people speak all the time about Ella Toon's, individual quality and her ability to take shots from range and her goal scoring and creativity. I think her best asset is her pressing. I think she's such a relentless presser. She's like a dog without a bone when she wants to go and get that ball back, and that is so important in a side like United today to have a player like that in Ella Toon. And we know that she will press very aggressively to look to get the ball back. That's really important. City this season have struggled to play out at times. It has been to their detriment. And if United can target that, that is a potential point of weakness today. So I think that's why United have done what they've done. It's going to be interesting to see which side comes out on top. I think it's such a tight game to call. I think that's evidenced by the live chat where it was split vote earlier. It has now slightly gone in favour of Manchester United, which I think is interesting in of itself. But I think this is such a difficult game to call. I said a draw on my Friday preview. I'm still not 100% sure I'm going to stick with that, but we will get into predictions shortly. Firstly, Uncut Welcome to the Stream says, my fear with Patel is that she doesn't go for aerial balls like Tullis. Joyce does, and City can capitalise on that. Yeah, I think that is absolutely a good point to make. I think what we noticed in the PSG game is that she doesn't come out and make those high claims. And especially when City have players like Viviana Miedema and especially Khadija Shaw in the penalty area. And today, on corners, back now from injury, Rebecca Knack. that is a huge amount of aerial threat. And if you don't have a goalkeeper like Tallis-Joyce, as you say, who's really confident coming out and claiming it, that could be, again, to the detriment of Manchester United. But we'll be interested to see what impact that has. I do think having your bench goalkeeper in rather than your starting keeper is going to have a big effect. It's whether United can limit City having chances today and whether they can then score some of their own as well. That's going to be really important today. I think United will get chances. That's the key thing. Is whatever City do, United will have chances today, just because of how weak I think City are defensively. But if City can outscore United, then it won't matter. And that's going to be the important swing in this game. If they can limit the chances created, then yeah, that will be interesting. Shell says, happy birthday. Thank you, Shell. It's not my birthday personally, for anyone who doesn't know. I put out a community tab post today. It is the 2-year anniversary of the channel. We had a memberships launch on Wednesday, and I mentioned there it was 2 years to the date that I'd started the channel. So that was when we actually launched the YouTube channel, and then it was this date 2 years ago, the 15th, I think it is. Yeah, 15th of November, that we posted our first ever video. I did go back and have a look at that, and I was laughing. We look ridiculously young. It's stupid how it was only 2 years ago. Stupid how young we look in that video. But yeah, if you haven't watched that, feel free to go and watch it. Abu Bakar says, what's your issue with United? I don't have any issue with United. I think the issue with United today will be the lack of experience in goal. I think it'll be interesting to see how they create chances on their own. I think though they are very good. The way they'll create chances today is by letting City have the ball and then generating those high turnovers by pressing aggressively and forcing mistakes. That's how they'll create chances today, United. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. But if City are precise in build-up today, or actually if City go the other way and try to be more direct, that could be hugely beneficial as well. So it's going to be a good tactical battle. I think both these managers are excellent tacticians. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how they respond to each other's movements in the game. This derby for me has, when it was Taylor and Skinner, always felt similar to City versus Liverpool in the men's game, where you've got two tacticians who are, it's less of a battle this game and more of a dance, where each responds to each other's movements. And I think it will be similar today. It's going to be really interesting which side starts on the front foot, how does the other side respond, and then how do they each other respond, and then going on from that, because that what it will constantly be today is how quickly can the two sides adapt to what the other is doing. That's going to be really interesting. I think this could be a fascinating tactical battle. We are a few minutes away from kickoff, then players making their way out onto the field. So let's get into the predictions. Get involved in the live chat if you're watching along and let me know your scoreline prediction. I'm going to kick us off here in the studio though. I said on my Friday video 2-2. In my preview for this game, I said 2-2. And I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm really torn on how to predict this game. I don't think I could call it either way, to be honest, because I think these two sides are so evenly matched. I do think the goalkeeping for today for United could be a problem. Having Sophia Middleton-Patel rather than having Fallon Tallis-Joyce, I think that makes them undoubtedly a weaker side. But overall, they're still incredibly evenly matched, these two sides. So I'm going to say 2-2. I'm going to sit on the fence with this one and we'll see what happens. David Fraser says Manchester United 2-1. Fair enough. Another comment says the back of Knack is key. The return of Rebecca Knack, absolutely. I think having her, not only in terms of her defensive qualities, but also the fact that she's a huge goal threat on corners, that for me is huge for Manchester City, having that player in the back line. Also a bit of experience. I think if they were looking at today's game without Greenwood and it was Pryor and Rose, I'd definitely be swaying more towards Manchester United, but having that experience could be key. The problem for Knack, though, is that she's not great in transition either, which is where City's weakness has been. We saw that in the Everton game when they got Payne and she just absolutely burst past Knack and then she was taken out of the equation. So what will be interesting today is if United can target that slight weakness, or that huge weakness actually for City in transition, that's where United can really do some damage. But they've got to be more direct today. That's absolutely what United have got to do. Be direct, be transitional, make this game difficult for City. Harry says 2-1 City. Nigel going 2-1 City as well. Great to see some predictions rolling in. Russ Hammond says a healthy Shaw tips the scales towards City. Yeah, potentially. I think a healthy Shaw and no Tallis-Joyce, that combination for me potentially does tip the scales. But if United can limit the opportunities that City have, that will make the difference. So yeah, I still think it's an incredibly tight game. But yeah, really could go either way. both sets of players taking to the field for the first game of WSL Game Week 9. And, well, with top of the league at stake today for Manchester City, if they win, they go 4 points clear, albeit momentarily, as we'd expect Chelsea to beat Liverpool tomorrow. But that 4-point lead, establishing that advantage, they'll look at their fixtures going into the Christmas break, with Leicester, Villa being their only 2 games left of the year. They'd look at that as they should be going into Christmas, top of the league. And that is a huge psychological factor in the title race. So this is a huge game for City. This is a huge game for United as well. If United drops 7 points off City, then the title is over for them. There is no chance United catch that gap back up. So this is such an important turning point, really, in both these side seasons. This will either be what brings United right back into the game, or what completely takes them out of it. And it'll either be what leaves City behind Chelsea or in front of them. So I think it's such an important game today. And it is Manchester City to get us started here at the Etihad. Lauren Hemp from the middle. No, it's Miedema. Hemp back, I haven't spoken about that enough either. That is a huge return. Viviana Miedema from the middle knocks it back, run away here in this Manchester derby. It's Man City versus Man United at the Etihad Stadium. And 3 points seems to, well, the swing of 6 points could be crucial today. And it's United on the ball. Here's Sandberg, pressed high by Firmino, and it's well won. And here come Manchester City. Firmino swings it into the box, looking for Shaw, drops for Hemp. Chance now. Le Tissier reacts quickly and gets it clear, but already City putting United under pressure. 20 seconds in, the first swing of the ball into the box, looking for Khadija Shaw. Here is Rose, steps up nicely into midfield, shifts it to Blinkilder, and then receives it back. And now clipping it forwards, looking to target Hemp in behind. It drops now into Miedema to Shaw. Now wide to Hemp, who looks to create something again. Blocked well by Jade Riviere. Hemp now looks to deliver this a better ball, but Zigiotti gets in front of it. And it's back now again to Knack. Here's Uahavi. Shifts it inside to Hemp. Now Knack. Uahavi knocks it down the line, looking for the run of Hemp. Zigiotti, though, will get it clear. And that's brilliant work there from Turlin to get in front of the ball. And United driving forwards now. Turlin shifts it into Toon. It's a little bit behind her, but she does well to readjust. Now Park, back to Toon, inside to Zigiotti. United's first spell of possession in this game. Miyazawa. Now Janssen knocks it wide into Sandberg, down the line, looking for the run of Lea Goulton, and knocked out of play by Jade Rose. But I think we're seeing what we sort of expected, which is that this game will be very transitional. There will be chances at both ends. And it's going to come down to who can take them. Le Tissier. Now Riviere, looking to knock it in behind, Turner making the run off the shoulder. And that's great hold up there from United striker. One back by Uahabi, though. And she knocks it down the line, looking for Hemp. Hemp, though, brings down Riviere. And that will be a United free kick. Oliver says, hopefully City win and stay top, but I just can't get my head past thinking Park will score. Going 3-1 City, fair enough, nice prediction. Shell saying 2-2 as well, love it. City turn the ball over and they are coming forwards now. Miedema. Looking for options, knocks it wide into Hemp. And Hemp now wants to take on Jade Riviere. Wants to beat her to the byline. No room for that though, knocks it back. Into Uahavi, now into Hemp. Wants to take on Riviere and goes down the line. Ball towards the back post, looking for Shaw. Can't quite meet it. But City probing once more for Gino. Picks up on the loose ball. Back now into Blinkilder Brown. And now Hasegawa, nice shift there. Now to Firmino. Knack. Uahabi knocks it wide, Hemp down the line, looking for the run of Miedema, who does brilliantly off the shoulder of Zigiotti. Miedema breaking into the box, takes aim, and it's off the front post. And that a great chance there for Manchester City. All created by Viviana Miedema. She makes the run here off the shoulder of Zigiotti, uses her body well to assert herself, and tries there to strike a cross goal. You think she's going to open up and go across goal, sorry. She strikes instead across to the near post. Nice effort, and that had Sophia Middleton-Patel beat. But it comes off the near post. And the early chance of the game not taken there by Viviana Miedema. Middleton-Patel knocking it long. That's going to drop into possession of Kasparai. And she'll go back to Rose, albeit the pass a little overhit. And so City dropping back deep into their own half. Don't say surprise, Galton is in. Well, it's a big call to make her first start of the season, the Manchester derby. I think she can offer a lot though, especially in transition today. And I think the impact of Rolfo and Mallard off the bench will be great. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Galton can offer. Jeglertz caught on the ball, and now here comes City. Fagino shifts it wide, and it's Hemp on Riviere again. Looks to take her on here. Lauren Hemp goes to the byline, cuts it in, chance down the back post, and it's blocked. And it fell initially to Miedema in the air, couldn't quite catch it, drops at the back post to Hasegawa. And her strike blocked well by Anna Sandberg, a crowd of bodies in front of her. And she couldn't quite squeeze it through there, Yui Hasegawa. And again though, City getting the better of United there. Hemp with the ball into the area. And they threatened once more. And now City with this corner. Uahavi delivers it into the area, looking for Shaw. And I think that may have come off the head of Shaw and bounced out. And it has indeed. That will be a Manchester United goal kick. City starting brighter though. United had that fleeting chance they broke away. Other than that, it's been all City really. About 4 or 5 attacks now where they've been able to really stretch United's backline with their quality out wide. Hemp on the left and Fagino on the right. And then swing balls into the box. You can already understand their game plan. Park. Now into Zigiotti, drop deep to get involved in the build-up. Here's Toon, can slide it through, and it's Riviere now overlapping on the right-hand side. Ball into the box, looking for Galton. And that is knocked out of play really well by the recovering Kirsten Kasparai. But that, an incisive move, and that's what I was speaking about before, where we know United will have chances today. City are so easy to play through at the moment, but they're also very difficult to stop from scoring. And the next City game is so fun to watch, but Riviere cuts it across the box. And Galton couldn't do much with that chance. Knocked out well by Kasparai. And corner again for Manchester United. Sandberg to take this. What can United offer from this set piece? In towards the near post, headed away. And now it's Blinkilde. And she just lashes it forwards, and that will go to the United goalkeeper, Middleton-Patel. Letitia. Now Janssen. Into Sandberg, who's inverted a little here. Now Miyazawa. Back into Janssen. Looking for a forward pass. Great knock there into Toon, who's dropped into this left half space. Galton to Toon. Back to Galton. Back down the line for Ella Toon. That's overhit though. And Jade Rose gets it back to Yamashita. Header one well by Zigiotti. Kasparai. Now Blinkilde. Kasparai pokes it up the line, looking for the hold-up of Shaw. Brilliant defending, though, from Janssen, who's assertive there on the Jamaican forward. Park. Into Letitia, who can release Riviere down the right-hand side. And again, she overlaps effectively here. Jade Riviere puts it into the area. That's not the cross she was looking for. And that ball floats out of play for a Man City goal kick. David says, Miedema is way more dangerous for me than Shaw. Yeah, I think they both offer a lot of threat. I mean, Shaw's still got the most goals this season of any player in the WSL. Admittedly, 2 of those were penalties, both against London City. But still, she's a ruthless goal scorer. I think the way this City system is set up, though, does give Miedema naturally more chances, because often it's Shaw who makes the selfless run in beyond, or looking to, stand on the shoulder of the last defender, when actually the best run is Miedema on the edge, looking for the cutback. So yeah, I do think the way that City attack and their system does play more into the hands of the attacking midfielder getting chances. But when that attacking midfielder is Viviana Miedema, who is a striker by trade, I don't see any problem with that. Rose. Now Blinkilder. Nice turn there. And now it's Uahavi. Into Hemp, holding the width well. Hasegawa, lovely receive there on the half turn, and she can slip in Lauren Hemp, who's darting into the box now, cuts back for Shaw, who can't do anything with that one. And that move there, all created by Hasegawa. And it's not just the pass, it's all in the movement here. She receives it from Hemp. The way she receives that ball under pressure in such a tight area, receives it on the half turn and goes, that completely opens up United. And Lauren Hemp, in full fitness, would probably create a better chance than that. Corner now for City, and it's Hasegawa to take. Looks now to deliver that a poor ball into the front post, and now Sandberg can get it clear. That'll go all the way to Yamashita, the sweeper. And Yamashita, I thought she was going to take the throw there, but she does let Uahabi come and take it. I think City wanted to get the ball in quickly there, but United pushed up. And so now City with possession from the throw-in. Uahabi. Into Blinkilder Brown, who's got Miyazawa on her back. And that good pressure leads to out of play. That's a City throw. Uahabi. Waiting for an option here. Blinkilder. Dispossessed too easily there. Toon into Ziggiotti. Now switches it across into Dominic Janssen. Here's Sandberg, who has Fagino trying to stop her in her tracks. Fagino does well, but that should be a Manchester United corner. And it is indeed. Good work from Sandberg there. Realised she probably wasn't going anywhere. And managed to win the corner. And what can United do from this set piece? Ziggiotti over this. And while City, we know, offer danger from corners, United haven't done enough this season. Ziggiotti towards the back post. Drops on the edge for Miyazawa, and that's blocked. An effort lashed from range, and there is a head injury in there. So this will be a stoppage to the game. Good spot from the referee. And it's Lauren Hemp, who has just taken the full force of Miyazawa's effort square in the face. It's a good block, and hopefully it's nothing serious. Although it's just, I feel it does seem a little shaken by that, as naturally you would think so. And this will give an opportunity for both managers to readdress some of the issues from the first 12 minutes and restate the game plan. So far, I think Jeglertz will be the happier of the two coaches. City have come forwards, they've looked dangerous. And with a little more accuracy from these crosses, they probably have challenged, probably have threatened Milton Patel more than they have. United have had opportunities though, and City can't afford just to ignore that. Phil says, afternoon all, good to see you, Phil. Welcome to the stream. And there, behind the City subs bench, a group of players I'd love to have involved today. Carolyn, Alex Greenwood, amongst the injured party. And so Hemp does seem all right to continue, but we'll have to go off after receiving treatments. That'll be a United drop ball, I believe, in the City half. And yeah, it will be. But this has allowed City, obviously, to get out. What can United do with possession? They're down a player for the moment, Man City. Janssen, Sandberg, into Galton. Now Sandberg, back to Dominic Janssen. And now here is Maya Letitia. Miyazawa knocks it wide into Jade Riviere. Ball in behind, that's headed away by Jade Rose. And Uahavi then lashes it clear. And Tissier there does well. Under pressure from Shaw, just heads it out of play. She Aficionado says, which is worse for you as a Chelsea fan, Jack? Losing the league to Arsenal or losing it to City? Losing it to Arsenal easily. I'd rather watch any team win the league than Arsenal. Uahavi. Into Miedemar. And back now to Rose. Kasperai. Virgino under pressure there from Sandberg. And back now to Rose. Greenwood. Knack, sorry. Here is Rose. Back to Knack. And now Lea Uahavi. Knack. And that is a great direct ball into Kirsten Kasperai. And here comes City. Puts it in towards the back post. And Riviere chooses a safe option there, knocking it out of play. And City can keep the pressure on from this corner. This is a great ball from Kirsten Kasperai. Knew her intended target. I just looked to float that ball to the back post. And City get a corner out of it. Hasegawa over this. Lays it short into Fujino, who makes the burst at the front post. Lays it back to Hasegawa. Nice routine. Blocked though by Jeglertz. Kasperai looks to keep it alive, but heads it out of play. And all in all, a wasted set piece really for Manchester City. I find it bizarre they choose to overcomplicate their set pieces, City. You've got Miedemar, you've got Shaw, and especially you've got Rebecca Knack lying in wait in the penalty area. I get what they were trying to do there, but it feels easy just to stick it in the box. Here's Riviere. Launches it down the line, looking for Goughton. Will drop now to Turland. That's great pressure from Park. Now Toon. Locks it out to the left-hand side. Here's Anna Sandberg. And that's blocked well by Kirsten Kasperai. Aficionado says, why does United already look tired? Maybe adding European football's taken a toll. Of course it will. It'll be United's problem like it was City's last year. Neither of these squads are deep enough really to play in Europe as well as the WSL. And so naturally what we're seeing from United is what we saw from City last season, where the first 11 is being overplayed and they will get injuries. Jeglertz in towards the front post, headed away well by Hasegawa. Ball headed back in the box, headed down by Hemp, drops now for Toon, and she would have wanted to catch that a lot better than she has. Just skewing it off wide there, Toon. And no threat to Yamashita in the City net. But yeah, so far, neither side's had a shot on target in this match. Still, though, we've seen chances at both ends. I said at the top of the show, it's going to be who can take them today. And at the moment, neither side is able to even threaten the goal. Uahavi. Lifting it in behind. Letizia knocks it down. Only to Viviana Miedemar, though. And City still in attack. Shaw to Miedemar. Into Fujino. Back towards Khadija. Shaw in the box, who lashes it across the face of goal. And Kasperai can't quite get there. And again, City create a chance of quality and are unable to convert. This is brilliant from Fujino. Darting inside. Giving the option there for Miedemar, knocking it back into Shaw. Shaw plays the perfect ball across, but Kasperai wasn't quite on the same wavelength. And another chance for City goes begging. Sandberg thrown up the line. Turland tries to beat Kasperai to it, but it drops behind the both of them, and City back in possession. Knack. Now to Rose, back to Knack. Who who plays it into Fujino. Rose, Hasegawa, now Kasparai clipping it in behind. Brilliant defending from Janssen. Assertive, gets in front of Shaw, but has accidentally knocked it out for a corner. And that will allow City to keep the pressure on. City have got to do more with the chances they're having. 60% possession so far in this game. And they're the side with the second most goals from corners in the WSL this season. And yet they've overcomplicated them so far this game. Hemp over this delivery then. And it's swung into the area on top of the goalkeeper, who's not dealt with that entirely, but it's hooked away well. Now Hemp. And that, a poor delivery, doesn't get enough on it to lift it into the box. So it's back now to Yayaka Yamashita. Now Blinkilde knocks it wide into Uahavi. Here is Fujino. Darts inside with purpose. Shaw round the corner. One back well. And Zigiotti clips it forwards. And that'll run through to Rebecca Knack. Uahavi. Now Blinkilde Brown. Back to Knack. Uahavi. Fujino. And now Hasegawa. Across to Kasparai. And now to Hemp, who has swapped wings with Fujino. She wants to run at Sandberg, and she'll get the chance here, but she can't quite beat her on this occasion. And much like Rashidat Ajibade found on Wednesday night, it's not very easy to get around Anna Sandberg. And this was that chance that Merton Patel didn't connect with that punch like she would have wanted to. But it was Zigiotti on hand to hook it away. Russ says, missed the update on Tyler's Joyce. Any news on what's wrong and how long she is out? All we found out on Wednesday is that it was a face injury. We had no idea whether she'd be back for this game. But I can't imagine it would be too long an injury. Skinner did make a note that it wasn't any, there was no concussion. It was simply a face injury. But yeah, so I'm a little surprised not to see her today, if that is indeed the case. Because, and a chance now for United. Galton in behind, plays it across. Brilliant block from Rose. Drops again for Galton, and she just miscommunicates with Park in there. They both leave it for each other. And there, two players that haven't played with each other much before. And they get caught up, and Janssen makes a right mess of that. Shaw knocks it past her. And Janssen picks up a yellow card. Just hooking her down. She went for the ball, just mistimed that, Dominique Janssen. And so Janssen has to be careful now. Feels as City still looks so open on the break. Absolutely. They still don't defend transitions well at all. And that's why this game has just been so end-to-end. So open. Uahavi. Now Hemp. Here is Knack. And Uahavi goes back to Yamashita. Who's happy just to roll that back into a penalty area, inviting United in to press. Here's Fujino. Does really well there, dropping into, receive it. Spins well on the half turn. And now Hasegawa. Blinkilde Brown under pressure, goes back to Knack. And out wide into Uahavi, who wants to come inside. Park tries to stop her. Here's Hemp. Back now to Knack. Great pressure from Riviere. Goes back to Knack though, who looks at her forward options. That's cut out well by Zigiotti, and now Park bursts away from Uahavi well, looking to play Galton in, who doesn't make a great run. The ball goes through. Rose does well. That's assertive defending, and there is a call for a penalty in there. I don't think there was enough in that, but no VAR in operation in the Women's Super League. So no reason really to look at it, but let's have a look. Was it a penalty? I don't think so. No, that's completely fair. Leads with the shoulder rather than the elbow, I think there, Rose, and just nudges Galton off the ball. Patel. Now, Letitia out wide to Sandberg. Knocks it forward, looking for Galton. And now Kaspraj. Knocks it wide into Fagino. Kaspraj back down the line into Hemp. Ball into the box. Headed away by Sandberg. Drops down for Hasegawa. Galton tries to stop her in her tracks. Knocks it in behind Sandberg. Brilliant work from Fagino to get there. Wants to take on Sandberg. Lovely footwork again from Fagino. Sandberg with her hands on her. Got to be careful. Fagino. Ball across the boxes. Blocked away. Blinkilder putting Zigiotti under pressure, and that's a City corner. First, that's dodgy to me. She moved away from the ball to shoulder barge. Yeah, I think because it's the shoulder, though, it's not too bad. I don't think there's enough force in it for that to be a penalty for me. And so, Lauren Hemp over this. And City haven't done enough to threaten from corners. We know they can be so dangerous on these set pieces. And Hemp over this. Ball in towards the back post. Shaw heads it across the face of goal. Kaspraj, and it's there. It's Rebecca Knack, I believe. Who else but Knack from a corner? And we knew that when she returned from injury, City would be able to threaten from these set pieces more. And that is a big goal in this game. City 1, United 0. And Shaw heading it across to Rebecca Knack, who just stands there towering over the United defenders and places her header in the top left corner. Brilliant from Knack, and City take the lead. Oliver says goal. By the way, you mentioned set pieces earlier and a certain defender. Absolutely. We spoke so much last season and over the summer about how when Rebecca Knack's fit, City have always got a threat from set pieces. And there it is on full display. Rebecca Knack heading home. City lead. Manchester United by a goal to 0. Janssen. Back now to Middleton Patel. United have got to do better in the area though. They're sure able there to drop off her defender too easily. Head it back across goal. And while I know Knack is a difficult target to stop, but still didn't do much in the way to deter her heading that home. Uwahabi heads it into Shaw. Wants to take Letitia on down the line here, but that's really good defending from Maya Letitia, who knocks her off the pitch. Throw taken quickly into Janssen. And now Sandberg. Down the line into Galton, who holds the width well. Back to Sandberg. Knocks it forwards into Turland. She receives that wonderfully there, Elizabeth Turland. Now wide into Park, who wants to take on her former side here. Uwahabi slips it inside, and it's won back by Hasegawa. Park on a different wavelength there to Toon and Turland. One high at the pitch though. Uwahabi dispossessed, but wins it back. And now Nat can lash it forwards. And Riviere, no problems beating Hemp in that foot race. Now Letitia. Here's Janssen. Sandberg. Knocks it down the line. And Rose goes back to Yamashita. Blinkilder. Nice turn. Looking for Viviana Miedemar. And Miyazawa goes back to Milton Patel. Now to Janssen. And Letitia. Knocks it wide into Jade Riviere. It goes down the line. It's a great run from Zigiotti to carry that ball forward to United. Pokes it forwards as she's taken out by Knack. And that will be a yellow card for Rebecca Knack and a free kick for Manchester United. And Knack can have no complaints really about that one. It's smart stuff from Zigiotti. She can see Knack coming forwards. And just punches the ball past her and waits for the contact, and that is a yellow card. And now both left centre-backs in this game have to be careful. And I think that's quite deliberate from both these sides. That's exactly where the weaknesses are, really. We've seen at times this season teams be able to come down that Manchester United left-hand side. Not many teams, but when they have conceded, that tends to be their slight weak point for City. Well, they've had a huge weakness at defending their left-hand side. As shown there. Free kick now. Toon over this. Will put it towards the back post. Yamashita, though, rises highest and claims it with ease. And a good claim as well from Ayaka Yamashita. And so City in the ascendancy. Half an hour into this game. Blinkhilde Brown. Now Kasparai. Back to Jade Rose. We will launch it forwards. Well received by Hasegawa. One back by Zigiotti. Drops now for Galton. One back by Fagino. Who now goes back to Kasparai. Now Hasegawa. Sandberg to Miyazawa. Zigiotti. And now Janssen. Letitia. Back to Dominique Janssen. Here's Sandberg. Toon. Back into Sandberg. And now Letitia. United can come down the right-hand side. Riviere. Into Park in the pocket. And Ua Harvey here has gone high up the pitch to chase Park down. Here's Sandberg on the left-hand side. Progressing well here, United puts it in the box. Blocked away, chance for Galton. It's blocked. Drops again to Sandberg. One back though by Ayoba Fagino. And now City can attack. Important block there from Jade Rose. Again, United found it too easy to play through Manchester City. But unable to take that opportunity. Now Toon receives well in this left half space. Drives it forward. Nice turn. Now into Galton. Into Park. And now Miyazawa. And United probing Letitia. Now Park. Knocks it into Toon. Now wide into Sandberg. Park. Into Toon. Miyazawa tries to play in behind. Drops now for Toon again. And now Anna Sandberg. Toon. Here is Letitia. Miyazawa. Letitia. Wide into Riviere. Now Zigiotti. Back to Maya Letitia. Janssen. Letitia. Here is Miyazawa. Knocks it to the right-hand side with Zigiotti on one. Now back to Maya Letitia. City doing well at the moment just to stop United playing through them. United continuing to probe. Letitia. Bounces one off Toon, who's dropped deeper now to get involved. And now he's under all sorts of pressure from Miedemar, and Letitia has to just clear it away. And it drops in now for Sandberg. Janssen. Into Miyazawa, who's got a pocket of space to operate with here. Managed to slide it into Turland, who can't quite keep that under her control. And Yamashita lashes it clear. Callum Core, welcome to the stream. Asks, where's the other man? I assume you mean Harry. He is not here today, unfortunately. He is running the line at a local game. But he will be here tomorrow for the doubleheader as we watch Chelsea vs Liverpool at 12 o'clock and the North London derby at 2:30. We'll be live 15 minutes before both of those games. So join us for that doubleheader. Obviously, the last WSL games before the November internationals. So you can join us for all of that tomorrow. Still, though, a long way to go in this derby. Zigiotti into Galton. Knocks it wide to Sandberg, who wants to create something on the left-hand side. Good defending from Kasper. Initially, Sandberg gets around her, but pulls it across the box. And no one there for United. And it's Hemp now who can drive that ball away. Trying to twist and turn past Riviere. Can't manage it. And it's forced backwards. Yamashita. Into Rose. Now across to Rebecca Neck. And Rose again. Steps forward well. Miedemar. Knocks it out to the left-hand side. Here's Hemp. Wants to take on Riviere. Harvey. Hemp. And now it's back to Blinkilda Brown. Knack. Goes all the way back to Yamashita. And again, United doing well. Just to force City back. Knack. Wide into Harvey. Riviere. Park. Now to Miyazawa. Lovely pass into Toon. Sandberg. Back down the line to Ella Toon. Knocks it inside well to Galton. Sandberg. Miyazawa back to Galton. Wants to take on Jade Rose here. Falls back to Sandberg. Janssen. Now Toon. Puts it in the box. Headed up in the air from Kasper. Turland tries to bring it under her control, and there is an offside flag up there on Elizabeth Turland. And that an interesting call. Not sure whether she was offside in that one. I did think it may have hit her arm though, so we'll have a look. And yeah, great spot from the assistant referee actually. Turland was in offside position, so that is a fair call. So just under 10 minutes left in this first half then. What can United do to respond to City? They've had the early dominance in this game, the home side. Have the visitors got anything to respond with? Hasegawa. Lovely reverse ball there, looking for Ayoba for Gino. Good claim though from Middleton Patel. And United now on the right-hand side looking to progress the ball. Riviere into Zigiotti. Back to Riviere. Now Letitia. And it's Middleton Patel. Janssen. Knocks it wide into Sandberg. Now Galton. Janssen. Cross to Zigiotti. Now Dominique Janssen plays it into Park. He twists and turns out of trouble really well. That's excellent from Jess Park. Toon. Park. Now Toon on the edge of the box. Lovely football from Manchester United. And perhaps deserves a goal at the end of it, if not for a fantastic challenge there from Harvey to stop that ball through to Jess Park. Here's Janssen. Now Galton. Sandberg. Bounce off Miyazawa now inside to Toon, who also goes back to Anna Sandberg. Down the line into Galton to Toon, cut out well by the tenacious Hasegawa. Blinkhilde Brown back to Rose. And now Yamashita. Knocks it across into Nak. Yamashita goes long. And Janssen now heads it forwards, drops in there for Yui Hasegawa. And now Nak again, who again looks to drill it long. Lovely header on from Shaw. Here is Lauren Hemp, wants to take on Riviere. And that's brilliant defending again from Jade Riviere, who's had the measure really of Hemp throughout this game. Here's Park. Carrying that ball forwards well. Pokes it to the left-hand side, looking for Galton. Cleared away by Kasparai. And now a United throw in. And I think we'll have a stoppage here as Ayaki Yamashita is down in some discomfort. And so both sets of players, both sets of coaching staff will use this as an opportunity. And already you can see Simon Roberts and Mark Skinner quickly to round up the United players. They've got to make something happen in the last 5 minutes. United, I don't think they've been as bad as the stats would suggest. But they haven't put a shot on target yet. And you can't score in a game of football unless you do. So they've got to find that final ball, United. They've got to find their finishing touch. They've got to threaten City more than they have. But possession has now swung back in the favour of Manchester United. Since that Nat goal, I think United have probably been the better side. But they're just not creating anything for their strikers to actually finish. But there has been some really nice combination play on the edge of the box. There's been a lot of nice progression of the ball, especially in wide areas, but they've now got to find that finishing touch. They've got to create something, United. But it's certainly coming. 5 minutes left in this half. I imagine we'll have quite a lengthy additional time, considering we've had a number of stoppages in this first 45. Hemp was down with a head injury now. Yamashita down for a minute. And Skinner, quite animated there with Simon Roberts about something they want to analyse. And here is Sandberg with the throw-in. Looks to go up the line. That's headed away well by Kasparai. Sandberg. Her pass inside's cut up by Blinkhilde, and City here will look to break away quickly. Hemp into the overlapping run of Uahabi. Back to Hemp. Who goes to Rose. Nak. Now Yamashita. Into Rose. Who muscles off Miyazawa well. And here comes City. Options to the left and right for Jade Rose. Gives it to Kasparai now. Ball into the area. Looking for Shaw. Finds Shaw. And City double their advantage. Manchester City 2, United 0. And a quick move down the right-hand side opens up Manchester United. And on hand is Khadija Shaw to finish the job. Great move. And City now extend their lead. And United, well, they've been undone way too easily there. Rose steps forward well. She's strong up against Hinata Miyazawa. And United, their response is so poor to that. They get frustrated. They try and blame. They try and call for a foul there. They've got to get back in. And they don't. And the ball's not wide to Kasparai. Sandberg's not out to her quick enough. The delivery's really good. And Janssen doesn't deal. Milton Patel's going nowhere. And Khadija Shaw is tucking it into an empty net. Manchester City 2, United 0. And that, for me, has come against the run of play. But that's what makes City so dangerous. They haven't had a lot in the way of chances in this second part of the first half. what I guess you could call the second quarter, but the chance they've had there is in the back of the net. And ultimately, that's why they lead. Hemp. Now Uahavi. And here is Rebecca Knack. Goes wide to Yamashita. Now Knack. Wide into Uahavi. Love celebrations in the live chat. Oh, says Rose straight through the midfield, finding space. Exactly. And United just made it too easy, really. And that's, yeah, a goal created by some really smart initiative from Rose. And now, as we tick towards half-time, City with a 2-goal advantage. Yeah, I'm not sure what Middleton Patel was doing either there. Not sure what Janssen was doing. Lots of questions to be asked of that move defensively. United caught out too easily. Here's Shaw. Great hold up from City striker. Now for Gino. Don't think she realised there she had Hasegawa supporting in the half space. For Gino, puts in the box, blocked well by Sandberg. 5 minutes of additional time in this first half. And so, time, well, you would say for United to try and get back into it, but also time for City to extend their advantage. And it's City on the attack now with this corner. And Wiedemann seems to be in some discomfort, holding her knee. I think she'll try and play to the half. And then assess at the break. Hemp over this then. We've already seen one of her deliveries result in City's opener. A third would really crush United's spirit at this point in the game. Ball on top of the goalkeeper, and that deemed a foul there as Miedemar bundles in to the United shot stopper. And that, yeah, header against the post, but Middleton Patel just doesn't look comfortable claiming that at all. I mean, Jeglertz has got to be very happy with what he's seen. Another goal. This is game over. Middleton Patel. Nice pass inside. Here's Toon. Bounce it to Miyazawa. This is better from United. Galton. That misplaced. That's dropped to Sandberg though. Kasparai turns it over high at the pitch. And here comes City. Kasparai across to Hemp. Can she get a shot away? She does. And it's 3. And that again, too easy. United turn the ball over high up the field and convert the goal. That is brilliant from Lauren Hemp. And this derby is looking more like a friendly. City 3, United 0. And that too easy once again. Kasparai comes inside, gives it to Hemp. No one closes her down quick enough. And she fires home into the top corner on the near side. Great finish, drives power through it. Middleton Patel was not getting, well, probably should have got to that one. And United fans behind the goal left grimacing after watching another goal. And well, that for me looks like game, set, match. And it's City coming forwards again. Shaw tries to squeeze it through the lines. Janssen does really well to recover it. Here's Riviere. Knocks it forwards, and that will run through to Ayaka Yamashita. But dear Manchester United. A pretty disastrous day so far. And I mean, it's going to take one hell of a second half to turn this around now. Janssen. Stepping up with the ball. Sandberg. Knocks it down the line, and that's dealt with well by Rose. Minute and a half left of this first half. Fatball says 3 goals none by Miedemar. Is she doing nothing? No, I wouldn't say she's doing nothing. I think she's been lively in this game, Viviana Miedemar. Just hasn't been the player that's received it, really. Hasn't been in the right area at the right time. Riviere looks to send it forwards. Zigiotti. I mean, a goal for the break may give United a little bit more belief in this game. Park puts in the box, headed away well by Hasegawa. Now Ua Harvey heads to the edge of the box. Zigiotti heading down to Park. One back well by Viviana Miedemar. Now Hemp tries to go down the line. Knocked out of play by Riviere. I think it came off Hemp though, and that will be a throw-in. Phil says, should be game over. I wouldn't put it past City to concede 3. No, that is true. They are quite open defensively. Ryan says, oh, this is so good for the neutral. Well, it would make the title race very interesting. Letitia here, caught on the halfway line. Shaw running in behind. Riviere, I think, will get back in there. That's brilliant from Jade Riviere. But Letitia, she's had a tough few weeks. When do you see her give the ball away on the halfway line like that? And that sums up United's half. Half-time here at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester United are in trouble. It's City 3, United 0. Goals from Khadija Shaw, who got the second. Rebecca Nack, who opened the scoring. And then it was Hemp with a wonderful effort. And Man City are in cruise control here. United have got to wake up. Half-time, Manchester City 3, Manchester United 0. But yeah, Nigel's just laughing in the live chat. It's been one of those halves. They've had it all their own way, really. Manchester City, they've been able to come forwards well. And the question is now, what do they respond with? What do they have to respond with, Manchester United? Because they're down in this game 3-0. That is a hefty margin to make up. And the other problem is I found it very difficult to see the positives in that first half because there weren't many. They didn't offer much coming forwards. We speak a lot about their defensive strength. That wasn't on display there. I think, yeah, it's really difficult to speak positively about United in that first half. As Nigel says, best defence in the league, getting bossed by City. Well, United defensively this season haven't been the best team in the league. A few goals conceded in recent weeks. But yeah, City have been so open but so good coming forwards. You'd expect that to balance out. But in this game, they've just been brilliant coming forwards and United haven't really capitalised. There have been moments where City have been open defensively. United have been able to come forwards really well. But they've not done much with those. And I think, you think of some of the odd decisions today in that front line. Why go for Galton first start of the season rather than someone like a Melvin Mallard, rather than a Fridolin Arolfo? That, for me, is a big call that's perhaps backfired there for Mark Skinner. I think Turlin's done all right up there, holding the ball up. But, yeah, I mean, City have absolutely dominated this game. And it's fascinating because in recent weeks, we've seen them stutter over the line in games. Take Everton last weekend, for example. It was a narrow 2-1 victory where, for large parts of the game, you could argue Everton deserved something from it. Liverpool wasn't that long ago where it's 2-1 and they had to come back in that game, Man City. And so you look at that recent form, and even the Arsenal game not that long ago, you look back at that recent form and you think, well, they've stuttered through a few games. They're playing a side that we know are good defensively. But City here have been in absolute control. And it's one of those where if they'd scored 3 wonder goals, we could go, well, they've been very lucky to face United on a day where they don't have Fallon Tullis-Joyce. And maybe Tullis-Joyce would have done more about one of the goals of the 3. But I don't think she saves more than one. I think this has been just too open from United defensively. They've made it too easy for Manchester City to have those opportunities. And yeah, this has been a really poor showing from United. A really good showing from City, it has to be said. but way too open from United. And to concede in the manner they did, with 2 goals right at the end of that half, 43rd minute and 45 plus second minute, that is just really poor from Manchester United. Especially the manner they conceded. I think both goals they gave up. And that, for me, is worse than if they'd just been beaten outright. They gave up in both those scenarios. The second goal in the game is so poor because Rose carries it forwards, Miyazawa gets muscled off the ball, and everyone for United stops and complains. They don't get back into shape, they stop and complain. And that gives City the room to then use to hurt United, and they break down the right-hand side. It's a fantastic ball from Kirsten Kasperai, and obviously Khadija Shaw is going to score. That one, for me, Sophia Middleton-Patel should do better. And I think Tyler's Choice maybe would have saved it. I think Janssen's got to do better there. But yeah, this has been ruthless from City. Absolutely ruthless from Manchester City. And United were poor in that moment there, as I say, switched off. Becca, welcome to the stream. So just joined, whereas Harry is run the line today at a local football game. So he's not here, but he will be back tomorrow as we do the doubleheader of Chelsea-Liverpool and the North London derby. Joan Wee says, greetings from Malaysia. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in from Malaysia. Says, Man City keep scoring in the second half. Don't give United a chance to score. I have faith in City to win the WSL. I think this result speaks volumes about City's character this season. I think it shows how ruthless they are in front of goal. I've still got doubts over their defensive capabilities. And I think that's why, I mean, Phil mentioned it a moment ago, that despite 3-0 looking very difficult to turn around, City, if any side is going to concede 3 goals this season in the second half, I think it would be Man City. They're so open defensively, but United haven't capitalised on that so far. I think if they are to bring Mallard on, that makes them stronger. Whether that's on the left wing or up front, I think she just offers them something different, a bit of an outlet. I think Park's been brilliant in this game still, despite that first half not being, going United's way. I think that Park-Toon combination has done really well. But yeah, it's one of those. They've had other chances in this game, Man City as well, but the majority have come down the United's left-hand side, where I think, I don't think Sandberg's had a good game at all. Whereas I think Riviere has really kept Hemp quiet. I think Letizier's really struggled. She just looks so tired. She's had a difficult few weeks, and this game is, sort of the most high profile of those, where because they're playing City, that's getting exposed even more. But she's had a really tough few weeks, and yeah, Letizier has not had a good first half. Doesn't help if Middleton-Patel isn't at the level United need, because on hindsight, I think Tyler's Choice saves the second goal, probably the third goal. Not sure she could do much about the Rebecca Nat header, but that does have a huge impact. And yeah, I think City have done really well. Nigel says, I won't put 5 out of the equation today if they keep defending like that. That is absolutely the case. And as much as we can say, well, the goals wouldn't go in, perhaps, if there was a better goalkeeper, the chances have been plentiful for City. It hasn't just been the ones that have gone in. They've had so many opportunities, and they've capitalised really well. But yeah, Middleton-Patel hasn't made a save yet in this game. 3 goals conceded, yet to make a save. And this is what I spoke about. I mean, people saying, Middleton-Patel did really well against PSG. Yeah, she did really well against a side who don't create many chances and who have strikers who are very wasteful with their chances. She's playing in this game today against a side who create lots of chances and are very good at scoring them, and she's been completely exposed. But there we go. And Sophia Way, welcome to the stream, says, playing USL and the Subway League Cup during the week is telling. City are Chelsea's title contenders. I think it helps that City didn't have League Cup action this week. Because they do look a lot sharper. I think that is a great point. I think they look a lot sharper than United do. And I think in general the schedule's catching up to United. I think the reason it doesn't impact Arsenal and Chelsea in the same way as it does these two clubs is that Chelsea and Arsenal have depth. Chelsea are very good at using it, Arsenal less so, but they have the depth there. Whereas City and United, their squads are just so small. I mean, this United side, it's 2 changes, I believe, from the side who played, or 3 changes. Yeah, 3 changes from the side who started the PSG game. And arguably the Galton change makes them weaker. And I mean, even arguably the Mallard to Turlin change makes them weaker. So I find it very interesting. But yeah, they don't have enough depth in quality in depth, United, strength in depth. That's why they've struggled as much as they have. But yeah, very interesting first 45 minutes. Fascinated to see where the game goes from here. Nigel says, yeah, United have too small a squad for the number of competitions they're in. Absolutely. I think the same is true for City, but they'll get away with it this year because they don't have Champions League football. What will be interesting is if next season, when they are, you'd expect they'll be back in the Champions League, even if they aren't to go on and win this league, you'd expect them to stay in the top 3. The question will be, do they recruit enough next summer to put themselves in a position to do so? I think the difference for City as well is their academy is really good. So City have got Pryor now, who's come up and is a good enough player to compete for minutes. They've got Lily Murphy, who is injured right now, but is a great winger and able to compete for minutes. They have got Cody Thomas, who's shown real quality, I think. Obviously, Keating, I believe, came through the Man City Academy. We've seen, there was one more I'm thinking of, but I can't remember. Pritchard could be one if they give Poppy Pritchard opportunities. Haven't really seen her enough at senior level to say yet, but City have such a strong academy. That would be interesting to see whether they can use that. United don't have as strong an academy. I mean, people always talk about Skinner not using his young players, but Kira Barry is probably the most promising player, and she's already 20. And at that level, you'd expect her to be able to start in the WSL, play in the WSL a bit, but she's not at that level yet. Evie Rabjohn, another one, and I think the ACL has hurt Rabjohn massively because she was looking really sharp last pre-season, picked up an ACL injury, missed all of last season. That's definitely set her development back, but United don't have those products. I mean, Mara Griffiths is one, but they haven't, who I think should be given more opportunities, to be fair. That's one I will fairly criticise Skinner on. Griffiths should probably be given more chances, but equally, United, the strength in having the League Cup group stages is they are perfect games to bed those players into. That's what we've seen City doing, is playing their sort of second string side in those League Cup group stage fixtures. But obviously playing in the Champions League, that is a lot more difficult, especially when you're United and it's your first year in the Champions League. I mean, we've seen Chelsea, and we haven't seen it yet from Arsenal because they've played some tough games, but we've seen it from Chelsea where they've been playing Bolton and they played Paris FC and they played 20 and they were able to rest in those games, whereas United have had to go full strength in their games. That's why, I mean, United have done really well. They've won 3 from 3, but they have used their full strength side in all of their matches so far, and they haven't looked ridiculously comfortable in those games. They've still got their tougher fixtures to come. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what impact it has, but I think it will kill United in the league. If they don't turn this result around, which looks incredibly difficult for them to do, then they will sit 7 points behind City. That, for me, is insurmountable over the course of a season. Because I don't see... The key that United have had is that they didn't lose to Chelsea and they didn't lose to Arsenal. The Villa loss hurt them massively. Because even if they'd won that game, then today wouldn't be so problematic for them. But the fact that they could drop behind Arsenal or Tottenham this weekend, the fact that they're 7 points off Manchester City, the fact that they will likely be 6 points off Chelsea, that, for me, kills United's WSL hopes. So, yeah. Will be interesting. David says, would United be able to play Turner in a slightly different position? With Mallard on the wing, it's not working. Well, I think Mallard will come onto the wing, unless she's coming on up front. It looks like she's warming up, according to Phil. Yeah, I mean, you'd expect so. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what difference Mal makes. If she goes on up front, I think she makes more of a difference. Equally, I don't think we've seen much from Leah Goughton that's been positive so far. I think she can contribute well, Goughton, but she's not played 90 minutes yet this season, so to throw her into this match is very harsh for me. And she looks like a player who isn't sharp. As Sophie Way says, we all know 7 points in the WSL means title charge is over. Pretty much, yeah. Because if United beat Chelsea, City and Arsenal in the reverse fixtures, then fine, but they haven't beaten any of those sides yet this season. And that's the thing. If they'd beaten Villa and then this game was a draw, then I think we still look at United as a side who, while they can't beat those top teams, that's fine because they're consistent against everyone else and then they're able to draw with those top sides and that'll get them through. The problem with losing to Villa and then losing to City is that now they haven't been perfect against those sides lower in the table, and the framing of this situation with the City loss in mind, is that they can't beat the top teams either. And so again, it just flips around really the optics of the situation. It goes from United looking very difficult to beat, and in fact they were impossible to beat before the Villa game, to now, yeah, they could beat all the weaker sides in the league, but actually when they face a top opposition, they either draw or they lose. That is how the optics have shifted so quickly in 2 weeks. And I think part of that has been down to fatigue. I think they look a lot more tired. I don't think they've become a significantly worse footballing team. I think they look very tired. I think this international break couldn't come soon enough for them. The problem is, they look at this international break, you look at their starting 11, you'd expect Le Tissier to start for England. You would expect Dominic Janssen to start. You'd expect Jade Riviere to start. You would expect that, I mean, pretty much the whole squad. I don't need to go through all of them, actually, on review. You would expect that all of United's starting 11 start for their international teams. That, for me, makes it very difficult. Makes it very difficult to see them, coming out of that looking sharp. They need a week off. So yeah, will be interesting to see how they get on. Players coming out for the second half now. So how will they get on? Well, it's going to be a good second 45 minutes of action. The question will be, can United do anything to turn this around? Or even just limit Manchester City? And we are back underway in this game at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City leading by 3-0. Can they hold on? Well, it'll be difficult not to. The bigger question is, can United offer anything in response? United coming down the left-hand side. And that's a good interception there from Kasperite. And now Shaw knocks it down the line. One back well by Sandberg. Here is Le Tissier. Nigel, loving the performance in the live chat. Yeah, but it would be very interesting to see if they can keep it up, City, throughout the season. I think that would be the big question for me, because I think defensively, there's the old saying that attacks win games, defences win championships. And it'll be very interesting to see whether that rings true. Whether outscoring your opponent is a sustainable way to play football. Because despite City's dominance, United, I think, will score in the second half. Just based on the fact that City have kept one clean sheet this season, that was against West Ham, who have been awful coming forwards. And while United's first half performance wasn't good at all, I think there were elements. I mean, there was about 20 minutes after the Nat goal and before the Shaw goal where United were probably the better side. And, if they score in that period, it's a different game. It was mattered on for Turland, by the way. That is a big decision. Not saying it's a wrong decision, just a big one. Here is Park. Toon's still down. United want to use possession. Gouton has called for the game to be stopped. And Toon is down in some discomfort here. And that will be worrying for Manchester United. So what happened? Well, she came inside here, just got caught there on, I think, the Achilles. It's not intentional for Blinker to Brown, but that looks really painful from Toon. You can see that scream of pain and then her shouting expletives. That looks painful. And this would be yet more problems in the injury department for Manchester United. And again, this is the issue. With such a thin squad, it just leaves them really weak now. If this is something serious for Toon, she does seem to be in some discomfort. So we'll have to see. Also, as Toon doesn't look good, who else is from the bench? We saw Awujo in that role in the game the other night. They've got Mara Griffiths and they've got Niall Soon. I think they'll probably use Awujo again, and Awujo is the one warming up. If it wasn't Awujo, I would say Niall Soon would be likely to come on, because they don't really have wide options, do they? I mean, they could bring on Rolfo and push. I mean, Gouton's not a right winger at all, is she? I was going to say they could put Gouton on the right wing and put Park inside, but that just makes things much worse, I think. So it will be Awujo, who had some good qualities in that role on Wednesday night, but at other times did struggle a little. And so we'll just watch back while United wait to find out if Tuna's okay to continue. We'll just watch back a highlights reel of City's goals in this game where they have completely outplayed their local rivals, Manchester City. Dominant display thus far. David says, I'm really interested to see if the top 3 or 4 is close, what the January transfer window looks like. It'll be interesting. I think United needs serious investment. I think City needs more depth. I don't know if Chelsea need anything, really, at this stage. Because unless anyone leaves, I don't think there's any space in the squad. I think Arsenal want to recruit because of how... I mean, they need a defensive midfielder. If they don't buy one of them, bin off the second half of the season. Toon does seem okay to continue. Ball played in behind now, looking for Mallard, headed away well by Rebecca Knack. Sifway asks, are you live streaming the Women's El Clasico? When is it? If it's tomorrow, no. If it's today, also no. But yeah, if it's not it's today. No, I'm not streaming the Women's El Clasico. But yeah, we'll be interested to see how many Barcelona score in that game. Here's Riviere. Now Miyazawa. But also the Women's El Clasico kicks off in 20 minutes. This game will not be over in 20 minutes. Letitia into Riviere. And back now to Letitia. And now Milton Patel. Letitia. Milton Patel sends it forward. Hasegawa touches it down. Too short. Blinkilda Brown. Now for Gino. Here's short. But yeah, that 2-1, by the way, I can't believe that wasn't given as a free kick. I don't think there was much intent from Blinkilda Brown, but it was a nasty one. Don't think it's a red. Not enough force, and studs weren't... It wasn't high, studs weren't raised, really. She just sort of trod on her Achilles. It was a painful one, and it was a foul. But no, don't think it was a red sheer aficionado. Ball down the line. Zigiotti, nice hold up. Apparently hasn't kept that in touch. That will be a City throwing on this near side. Knack. Back now to Yamashita. Now Blinkilda. Back again to Yamashita. And now Knack knocks it down the line. Tries to flick it inside. That's out off of Riviere. And that will be a Manchester City throw-in. And so Harvey now. Looking to come down the left-hand side here, City. Throws it into Miedemar, gets the flick on. Riviere up in the air. Headed on well by Galton, looking for Mallard, who battles away for possession. And that's out for a goal kick. And I don't know how, to be honest, because I think that's come off one of the City defenders. We'll have a look at the replay. Galton heads it on well. Mallard, I think that's come off Rose, but that is a difficult one to see, to be fair. It bounces between the two of them. No, that does come off Mallard, to be fair. Fair enough. So City playing out from the back now. Headed on well by Miedemar. Hasegawa now for Gino. I think what City have done really well in this game is they've lent into being a little bit more direct. They know they've got Shaw, they know they've got Miedemar up there. There's a good chance they'll hold up the ball, and they have lent into that at times today, rather than being dogmatic and prescribing to solely a possession-based style of play. But they have been a little bit more direct than we'd have thought. And to be honest, that United bench look lost as to what to do. Fascinating watch. Kasperai. Thrown inside, cleared away well by Laetitia. Here is Mallard. Can she get the better of Rose? Good carrying here from Mallard down the left-hand side. Rose used her body so well, and that is excellent from Jade Rose. I think I saw a lot of praise for Rose this week, saying she's one of the most, I saw someone say she's the most underrated player in the WSL, and I thought, I thought at that time she had a really good season, or decent season, but I think she's still had some mistakes in there, and it's not been perfect. Still very raw. This game has been her most complete performance. The way that she has been physical with both strikers that have been on the pitch, with Turner in the first half, now with Mallard, the composure in possession. I think she looks much more confident now than she did when she first joined City, which, is unsurprising. She's played more WSL minutes. She's settled into the environment more. But, yeah, she's blossoming really well. Big part of why United have had very little luck coming forward today. Galton sends it up the line. Mallard will give chase. Knack will get there, though, and that's back to Yamashita. Knack. Knocks into Miedemar. Now Hasegawa looks to go in behind, looking for Shaw. Riviere will get there, and again, a little bit suspect from United defensively. Sandberg. Now Toon. Looking for Galton. There's offside flag up there anyway. On Leia, Galton went too early. Sundus says Manchester blue and forever blue. Well, today, the City looks a little blue, I have to say. Here come Hemp. Strikes from range over the bar. Nice move from City. Again, direct, played it in behind. Hemp tries to lift it over Middleton Patel. But yeah. That is brilliant. From Lauren, brilliant attempt just over the bar. Laetitia under pressure from Blinkilde and slips, but does well to recover it. Feels as Manchester has never and will never be blue. Everything for the last 15 years is a huge asterisk. I do agree with that also. Ball forwards. One back well by Mallard, though she can't quite hold on to it. London, on the other hand, is a very lovely shade of royal blue. Has been and forever will be. Miyazawa carries it forwards. Now out to the right-hand side looking for Zigiotti. Misplaced pass, though. And that's out for a City throw. And it's just looked... that there, Miyazawa giving that ball away, is a great example of what has happened for United in this game. It's so much sloppier than you'd expect. And not refined in the way that you'd expect United's performance to be. But yeah, they look sluggish. And on the flip side, City look really sharp. They're on it. Janssen back now to Middleton Patel. Laetitia, now Zigiotti. Back to Laetitia. Park round the corner into Zigiotti. Looks to ping it in behind. Nat clears it only as far as Riviere. And now Miedemar. Drops for Shaw. Here's for Gino. And now back to Rose. For Gino. Knocks in behind. Shaw can't quite hold it up. Now bounce through to Jade Riviere. So United build out from the back again. Thanks everyone that is tuning in, by the way. 100 people watching live right now. Love to see it. If you are new to the channel though and you haven't yet hit subscribe, make sure to do so. We are 3 short of 6,500. So if you haven't hit subscribe yet, make sure to do so. And of course, join us for more WSL action tomorrow and Champions League action throughout the week. Double header tomorrow and a double header on Wednesday. Foul there on Brown. Goughton bringing her down. That will be a City free kick. Back now to Yamashita. Rose. Kasparai down the line. Great hold up from Ayoba for Gino. Now Blinkilder into Hasegawa. Now Nak. Uwahabi into Hemp. Great hold up. Now wants to go down the line. Lauren Hemp plays in Shaw. He's made a great run off the shoulder of Letitia and the flag goes up. I feel that's a little bit harsh. Want to see a replay there. Oh, because I think Shaw timed this really well. Yeah, she was... Well, it's difficult to say, but I think she was on there. Miedemar. Tries to slip it through now for Gino, who can't quite hold on to it in the box. And that is out now for... Well, it's seen out by Sandberg, but that will be a City corner. David says Kasparai's always been an amazingly consistent player. Yeah, I think massively underrated. I think she's... because her attacking work is so good, people forget she's also a very reliable defender. But, I mean, yeah, such a good player. As you say, consistent, I think, is the exact right adjective to use. So reliable, so consistent. I think they could do with a bench fullback. Cleared away well by Sandberg there at the front post. But again, it's just a sign of United panic. As that's back out for a corner when it probably didn't need to be. But yeah, I think they could probably do with another option at right back so they could rest her every now and then. I know they've got Lazell who can play both fullbacks. They've got Laura Weinreuter, but I don't think she's really Man City quality, if I'm honest. I don't think that was a smart transfer. Here's for Gino, can't quite hold on to that loose ball. Zigiotti does well there to resist the pressure. And Sandberg now sends it forwards. Cut out well by Hasegawa. Here's Rose. And Nat can't quite hold on to that. Here's Mallard. Tries to get away from Blinkilder Brown. Goughton out to the left-hand side. Doesn't quite come off. And Hemp knocks it home. Here is Yamashita. Now Nak. Lovely pass into Blinkilder Brown. And that's a great challenge there from Riviere to win the ball back. Zigiotti. Now Miyazawa. Looking to play out to the left-hand side. That's a good challenge as well from Fagino. I think she's another player who stepped up massively. Ayoba Fagino. Remember when she came in at the start of last season, and obviously we had the whole Chloe Kelly situation, fiasco. But yeah, Fagino came in and she looked very raw, very unpolished. Double change well for United, by the way. But she looked very unpolished. This season, though, she stepped up her game massively, especially in the absence. I think throughout last season, she got better and better as time went on. And then coming into this season, she's looked undroppable, really, for City so far. And especially in the absence of Carolyn and Hemp and Mary Fowler and Lily Murphy, she's been fantastic. Double change there. That was Blundell for Riviere. And I believe it was Lisa Nalsoon. No, Velina Rolfo for Leah Goughton. So that makes sense. Letitia. Now Blundell. Letitia back now to Middleton Patel. And now Janssen. Looks to clip it in behind. Mallard makes the run off the shoulder. Chance now for United, but the flag is up. And so Mallard can't quite use that. Has she timed it well? Or was the official right? I think she has gone too early here, to be fair. Yeah, it's tight. It's very tight. I think she has gone too early, though. Good call. David says Japan's going to be a nightmare next World Cup. I think they could win it. I do think Japan could win the next World Cup. I think Spain are obviously the force to be reckoned with, but I don't think they're infallible. I think the US will be interesting. I think Brazil should be considered up there because they will play a very direct, very aggressive brand of football you'd expect. And on home soil, there will be that pressure. It's how they respond to that pressure. But the way they're playing football doesn't rely on them being perfect. It relies on them just being strong and disciplined. I think it's easier to be strong and disciplined under pressure than it is to be perfect under pressure. If they're playing some intricate possession-based football and you've got that home tournament, that's where it can come undone. Where you're a side who plays very direct, very physical football, I think you can channel the home crowd. Actually, that atmosphere can be hugely important. So I think Brazil will be very strong. Ryan says, feel like they put very good lineswomen on today just to mitigate the fallout from last week's game. I don't know if there are any very good lineswomen in the WSL, but yeah, they've done a very good job today. I think last weekend, the only offside they got wrong last weekend was the Russo one, because the goal she scored, she was offside for. Other than that, they nailed offsides. It was just the Blacksenius handball and the pullover red card for me, which were huge failings from the officials. And I think the Lino had a part to play in the Blacksenius one, or at least was consulted. What's the word? Not consorted. I can't think of the word now. Consulted. That's it. Consulted on the decision. So she had a part to play in it, but that wasn't her sole decision. So I think they got all the offsides right. We did see Melissa Bergin, I believe that's her name, the referee for the game. She was stepped down from the WSL this week, which I think makes sense after her performance and sort of the backlash for that. So yeah, she was stepped down to do WSL 2 this week, I believe. Here is Park. Tries to bring it down. Drops now for City on the edge of the box. Hemp. Lovely movement from Lauren Hemp. And that, though, a shot she would want back. Doesn't do particularly well with that one as it floats over the bar. Versus Japan always like this. The tall physical teams will be their issue as always. Yeah, it will be interesting. I think they're just so technically gifted, though, and strong now as a nation that I don't know if that physicality will be a massive problem, but it'll be interesting to see. You expect England, I hope England are up there. Here comes Mallard United breaking down the right-hand side. Options to her left if she can use them. Looks to cut it back, but she's delayed too long there. Now Park. Using options on the edge of the box. Zigiotti. Into Blundell. Hasegawa, though, standing her up. It's really good defending from you, Hasegawa. Clips it down the line to Hemp. Great pressure from Zigiotti, who wins it back cleanly. Goes back now to Letitia. And yeah, the US will be the other one. That'll be interesting at the next World Cup. What position they're in. Obviously, at the moment, they don't have any of Smith, Rodman, or... I think Rodman's just come back, but they don't have Wilson, Rodman, or Swanson. But they should all be back in time for the World Cup. Meanwhile, lashes that out of play, and that will be a United throw-in, and they can keep the pressure on. First time they've really put any pressure on City, especially the second half. I thought United would come out and look really good, and while they've had a lot of the ball, they've not done a lot with it. Total this game, 1.42 XG for City, 0.24 for United. They have barely had a chance, barely had a sniff. In second half alone, they've had one shot, 0.06 XG, despite having 62% of the ball. They just haven't done enough with possession. And City have done very well. City have become very good defensively in the second half. They've definitely shored up, and they are just trying to see this game out now, but still find it very interesting to see. The United are struggling so much to break down a City side who have been, well, I think porous is putting it kindly this season. They've been very easy to play through. Even United found it themselves earlier in this game, first half. They had the opportunities. They broke through the City lines, but they didn't do anything with it in the first half. In the second half, City have recognised where they went wrong in the first half and made it more difficult to play through them. 20 minutes to go then in this one. Headed on well by Shaw as City go direct. Drops now for Miedemar. Sandberg comes in and deals it. Drops for Hasegawa, but Park takes it off of her thigh. Milton Patel, now Letitia. Nice pass round the corner into Blundell. Who looks up for a forward option, shifts it inside to Hinata Miyazawa. And now Sandberg. Gives it into Toon. Wide now to Fridolino Rolfo, wants to come inside. Back now to Miyazawa. Zigiotti, Miyazawa. And now Blundell. Puts it into the box. Claimed easily by Yamashita, and she'll go to ground and slow this game down. Forwards from Yamashita again. Skinner frustrated, flustered by how poor that delivery was and how United weren't able to offer anything. Once again, Fagino into Shaw, who's timed that well. Wants to take on Letitia. Gets past her too easily. Shuffles inside. Khadija Shaw fires over. And that should be 4. A missed chance for Shaw. But she does so well here. Makes the run. Fagino should probably play that ball through sooner than she does. Squares up to Letitia. Takes it past her too easily. Letitia looks knackered. If I was in charge of United, I'd pull her out of the next internationals. I guess she'll want to play, though, to get her place in the England squad, but she just looks really tired. I think that's the easiest way to put it. Although, you know, the best way to put it. And it's not just that physical exhaustion, it's that mental exhaustion. It's the way that she has been caught out by quite, not overly complicated movement, but she has been caught out today. Obviously part of that will be physical exhaustion, that inability to just keep going and stay in it. But I think a larger part of it could be that mental exhaustion, where you've got to stay switched on for 90 minutes, and I don't think she's in the right headspace. Switch the play now in behind from United. Harvey knocks it down to Mallard now for Park. Can she score for United? Takes aim at the front post. Probably should have gone across goal. And just didn't strike that with the venom that she would have wanted to, Jess Park. Mallard does well. Pokes it out to Park. She had to go across goal there. Jess Park. And she'll be gutted that she didn't finish that opportunity and really sting her former side. And by the way, thank you very much for 6,500 subscribers. Appreciate it massively. And we are now 1,000 away from 7.5k, which has to be the next goal. So if you are new and haven't hit subscribe yet, make sure to do so. Appreciate it massively. Cat Adams, welcome to the stream, says, happy second year. I started following you when the US players started to play abroad. Have you always watched the women's game? Love seeing the support from you and your brother with TWFC. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support on the channel. The women's game, we started watching in... hang on, City come forward. Here's Meadham up. Knocks it down the line into Kasperite. Rolfo there being dragged by Kirsten Kasperite. And that will be a United free kick. We started watching, I watched it on and off as sort of a casual interest for a few years. Chance now, City went out of the pitch, meanwhile they should do better. But yeah, I followed Chelsea's women's side for a few years, and then it was after Euro 2022 I started watching more of it, and then it was after we covered World Cup 23 on the on our old channel we had. And then we decided to pivot towards making content based on the women's game. It's the best decision we've ever made, I think. And I don't think we'd be in the same position we are today if we were still doing the old channel, where we've got a fantastic community. Great to see so many of you in the live chat, and nominated for, well, finalists in 2 awards. We'll find out on Thursday whether we're successful, so fingers crossed for that. But yeah, so thank you so much for the support over the 2 years, and hopefully there will be many more years to come. Change here for City, and Lauren Hemp, well, unsurprisingly, will depart after 73 minutes. Great to see her back on the football pitch. She played half an hour in the Everton game. She looked good. She's come back to start here. She scores on her return. That all-important clincher at the end. That third goal just before half-time. And now she makes way for Iman Bene. The other change, Sydney Lohman on for Blinkilda Brown. Blinkilda Brown, another solid game for her. Her and Hasegawa, that pivot has been brilliant this season. The fact that she's come in, replaced Sydney Lohman after a slight knock and now made it, well, impossible to see Sydney Lohman back in the side, really, as a starter for now. Change as well, and Jess Park is pulled from the action. 75 minutes, I think she would have wanted to do more on her return to the Etihad. But it's Rachel Williams on in her place. They go direct into Williams' first time. Hold up was okay. Then she gets dispossessed. But United work hard off the ball. Here's Zigiotti. Ball down the line looking for Mallard if she can keep it in touch. Wants to take on Uahabi now. Shimmies inside effectively. Pass for Gino. Ball in, and that's blocked away well by Hasegawa. And Bene tries to drive it out. One back by United though is Sandberg. Wants to take on him and Bene. Bene gets back in. That's out for a United throw. Deep into Manchester City territory. She aficionado asks, how many years apart you and Harry? 1 year. In age. Well, yeah. It's, by January will be. Here's Sandberg. And Rose, that's that go to Yamashita. Sifewe says Skinner has accepted. Yeah, Skinner has accepted a defeat. Big game for them at Wolfsburg. Absolutely. I think it's a little bit. I mean, Wednesday fixture was an important result, but the performance wasn't really there. They were okay. I think they were helped by the fact PSG weren't particularly good. Last Sunday was really disappointing. This is probably their worst performance. Like I said, the season, I'd argue to extend that to the last 2 seasons. They've really struggled today. Blundell. Now Mallard, back to Blundell. And now Zigiotti. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I guess they did have the FA Cup final last season, didn't they? Where they weren't great. I think the worst performance probably before that would have been Chelsea as well at the end of the 23-24 campaign. But yeah, this has not been United's day. Far from it, in fact. And an absolute masterclass, really, from Jeglertz City. They have been aggressive, direct, transitional. They have been ruthless, I think is the best word. Short, great hold-up. And the second half, actually, something they've not been all season, and that has been defensive and disciplined. I think they've done really well defensively second 45. Now, the first half, that third goal for me changed the match because it allowed City in the second half to go, we can be super defensive here and we will see this game out. And yeah, they're doing that well. David says, Real Madrid goal line scramble for Frentzen being 1-0. Frentzen being 1-0 over Barcelona. What, ahead? Bloody hell, Barcelona must have they fielded their first team or a different one? But yeah, Uahabi over this. And well, we've already seen City convert one corner. Can they convert another? Ball into the area. Looking for Nak. Will drop now for Iman Bene. And her strike skews off to the right. And wide of the mark. But once again, not bad from City. And United failing to fully deal with that corner. Ball forwards, one back well by Rose. And back now to Yamashita. Rose. Yamashita. Oh, there's a Mexican wave around the Etihad. And without Harry here to bemoan it, I'll have to do it for him. Miedemar. Rose. Back now to Yamashita. Blundell. It's for Gino. Blundell tries to win it back and knocks it out of play for a City throw-in. Harvey. Here's Shaw. Dropping into defensive midfield there to get a touch of the ball. Yamashita. That's headed away by Janssen. Hasegawa. Now Shaw. Hasegawa. One back well by Dominic Janssen. Plays it down the line and it's Rolfo now. Great hold up from Fridolino Rolfo. Shifts it inside. Here's Ziggiotti. And that's one back really well by Viviana Miedemar. Tries to play it through the lines. It's a great ball. Shaw's timed it well. Should score. Must score. City. And the fourth goes begging again. Khadija Shaw in behind. And they just about recover it there. It's brilliant from Miedemar. Wins it back. Spots Shaw. Making the run between the centre-backs. That's outrageous. That was between the centre-back and left-back, sorry. They'd come across like centre-backs. Janssen has stepped up. And Shaw there, muscled away by Sandberg. But she'd absolutely done Letitia. And Milton Patel is there to deal with it as well. And that stops Shaw from making it 4. Sifaway says Shaw should have 2 goals by now. She probably should have scored again, yeah. I mean, that should be a goal. Way too easy from United. Gave away the ball in midfield. Miedemar looks up and has so much time and space and just plays. It's a fantastic pass, by the way, from Viviana Miedemar. Pinpoints it between the players. And Shaw in behind. You would have expected only one outcome, but alas. But yeah, while Shaw is down, injury reminder, tomorrow we'll be back with a double header. Chelsea vs Liverpool at 11:45 our coverage will begin. And then we'll follow straight in from that game into the North London derby. A 2:30 kickoff will be live from 2:15. And if that WSL action isn't enough to satiate your appetite, I believe that's a word, satisfy also works, then we have got Women's Champions League action on Wednesday. So look out for that as well. Reminder, no Champions League stream on Thursday, as we'll be at the Football Content Awards. Very exciting times. Sifway says, who would you have as your number 9? Prime Shaw or Prime Kerr? I don't think that's even a debate. It's Prime Kerr. I think people forget just how good Sam Kerr is. I think Shaw is phenomenal, don't get me wrong. I think Shaw's the best striker in the world right now. I think in terms of her just outrageous ability to score goals, her almost instinctive nature of scoring goals, she is phenomenal in that aspect. But I just think Sam Kerr is the better all-round player. I think Sam Kerr is just an incredible finisher also. And an entertainer. I think with Shaw, a lot of her goals are quite similar. But I think Sam Kerr's got a better sort of highlights reel than Khadija Shaw. And in terms of scoring goals in important moments. That for me is such a key part of being a striker. Don't get me wrong, Shaw has done it so well in the WSL, been brilliant, but they've never won the league. And I remember games like the League Cup final from last season, Chelsea against City, and Shaw struggled to have much of an impact in a game of that magnitude. Change there for United. Didn't see who came off, and it was Simi Awujo coming on. And Khadija Shaw, it was the other team that came off, and Khadija Shaw making way as well. And Grace Clinton on to face her former side for the first time. But yeah. Shaw making way. They'll be hoping to rest her up ahead of the... I mean, they don't have any more games, do they? Do they play in the League Cup in the week? Potentially they do. Yeah, they got Forest on Saturday, actually, not even in the week. So I forget they have a League Cup weekend. Yeah, they'll rest her up for that, so that'll be no problem. Or they'll hope to rest her up for that. But yeah. Zero says, how do you not pick Prime Kerr when she would get golden boot in NWSL, then fly to Australia and keep playing, get golden boot, and then fly back to America and get golden boot again? David says, Matt Kerr is a match decider. You can't count her out of scoring no matter the minute. Absolutely. And as Cat Analyst says, an absolute killer in the NWSL. Saying, I just watched Chelsea's 100 Sam Kerr goals and it was incredible. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no secret of my love for Sam Kerr. What a player. But I think even an objective view of the two players would deduce that Sam Kerr, she's got a winning legacy on top of the goal scoring record. I think Shaw is a fantastic goal scorer, but I'm not sure she's enough of a difference maker, and she hasn't won much. Laetitia. And that goes all the way through to Ayaka Yamashita. I mean, yeah, so Shaw's trophy haul is one Women's League Cup with Man City in 21-22. That is her only major trophy. It's a crime that they haven't won more with Khadija Shaw up front. Sam Kerr, for reference, 3 Women's League Cups, 6 Women's Super Leagues, a Community Shield, 4 FA Cups. On top of that, a few honours with Australia and an A-League Women's back in 2013. Janssen, back now to Blundell. Great drive forwards here via Viviana Miedemar. Hasegawa takes aim straight down the throat though of Middleton Patel. She aficionado says, but it's not Shaw's fault that she had awful managers. I think she did have awful managers though. Gareth Taylor's Man City side should have won the league, probably, in 23-24 season. Should have won the league that year. Shaw got injured though. That's just, it's not the manager's fault, it's the lack of investment in the squad. They almost won the league despite having a shoestring squad. Or a, thin squad, shoestring budget. I mean, it's not a shoestring budget, I should say. City spend still a fair amount of money, but they don't have the squad to compete with the rest of the league. Here's Sandberg, knocks it into Rolfo. Janssen puts in the area. Mallard can't quite get there. And now here's Fagino, knocks it down the line, looking for Sydney Lohman, who gave up on that too early. Could have got there, she kept running. Zigiotti. Now Miyazawa. Sandberg. Awujo. Kasparov will try and force her backwards. Great battle there from Kirsten Kasparov. Awujo does really well to open up the space, but fires wide. Better though from United, albeit that not much of a prize at this stage. They've not been very good today. And yeah, Awujo firing quite wide, much to the amusement of the City fans behind the goal. She Aficionado says, how do you and your brother end up supporting different teams? We don't. Here is Fagino. No, we're both Chelsea fans. She Aficionado. But yeah, ball back now to Laetitia. Middleton Patel. And across now to Janssen. Sandberg. Big tackle there from Iman Bene. And that's out of play now for a Manchester United throw. Yeah, no, the pictures don't correlate to anything. It's just that we couldn't have 2 Chelsea pictures because then that would upset Arsenal fans even more. So we had to have a different picture. I was never going to have an Arsenal player on my wall. Sorry, Arsenal fans. Never going with an Arsenal player on the wall. And yeah, I love Yui Hasegawa. I think she's a fantastic footballer. So yeah. It's the natural option. Here is a Wujo. Pokes through the lines. I did consider an England one. Rolfo now breaking into the box, cuts it back, and that's over everyone. I did consider an England one. That would have been the other option. But I wanted something that wasn't... Because Lauren James is Chelsea and England, so I wanted something a bit different. Yeah, couldn't have an Arsenal player. Definitely couldn't have a Barcelona player. Imagine that. Mallard breaking into the City third here. United looking for another goal. Awujo. Blundell. Now Awujo. Jeglertz clips it towards the back post. Rolfo heads down. Here's Williams. And it's blocked away well. I think as well, having Hasegawa up there made it easier to... I mean, our most viewed video, which we recorded after we got the new set done a bit. Or, you know, freshened the set a little. It's not exactly new. But after we freshened it, the Hasegawa... We recorded a Hasegawa video. That's our most viewed video on the channel now. So I think that played a part. Blundell. Sifway says, are you missing the game at the Bridge on Thursday because of the awards? Yeah, we are, unfortunately. But yeah, can't complain really according to the Football Content Awards. But yeah, we'll be sat there with it on our phone. But yeah. And CW absolutely right. Says no matter what team you support, everyone loves Yui. Absolutely. Ryzen asks, who is your player of the match? And that is a perfect question as we move into additional time. How much additional time though? We don't know. It's 7 minutes of additional time. Not sure why. Don't think there's been enough stoppages for 7 minutes, but there we go. It's also 3-0. But yeah, job's worth a referee. Ryan says, who's your player of the match? Very good question. I mean, there's only one team it could go to. It's just who on City has been the most influential player. I don't like just going for the goal scorers. It would either be Kirsten Kaspar's got 2 assists and been brilliant both sides of the ball today. She's definitely up there. Or Viviana Miedema, to be fair. I think her play, especially off the ball, has been really good comparatively to what we'd expect from Miedema. Go on, scramble here for United. There's a second ball on the pitch as well. And it is cleared away by City. And there is Jade Rose down with a head injury as well. But yeah, player of the match, I'll say Kasper. I think is good. That was so smart, by the way. I think it was one of the fans. Oh, no, that's not smart. It's a United fan, I think, that's thrown on the ball to try and stop their own corner. Stupidity. Maybe a City fan. I thought it was a City fan initially, but it's the United end. But yeah, I think Kasper's been brilliant. I think 2 assists from a fullback is always going to be up there. And both were very good, very well-made assists. I think the way that she's defended as well has been excellent. So yeah, brilliant from Kasper, brilliant from City in general. 7 minutes additional time is a joke here. I'm going to have to go right on full time, I have to say. I mean, I've got a stoppage now as Awujo down and Rose down, both with possible head injuries. There's a definite clash of heads. Hopefully nothing too serious, but yeah, that quite an aggressive clash of heads as well. A lot of force, so hopefully nothing serious. And Skinner looks very unhappy, as do a lot of the travelling fans. It's not been the Saturday they would have wanted. Yeah, for such players, I mean, you can see it with the bumps on their head. That's how forceful that was. But yeah, hopefully nothing too serious. So yeah, that is... I think both players are able to continue. Sifiwe says you're going to end up behind Tottenham tomorrow. Talking to Shifish Ardo, who's an Arsenal fan. That'll be interesting tomorrow. if Tottenham can win that game, wow. Wow, Tottenham would be third. And 2, Arsenal would be in a terrible position. So, a lot riding that game tomorrow. I'd expect Arsenal to win, but you never know. I mean, it wasn't that long ago we saw Tottenham claim their first ever win over Arsenal. That was Robert Villaham's first season. It was Martha Thomas, I believe, who scored on that day. Letitia. Janssen back now to Maya Letitia. Now out to Sandberg. Letitia. Ball into the box. Mallard attempts the overhead kick. Comes off a City player. It's Knack who clears it away. That will be United corner. Oh, Woodrow has gone off, by the way. So, ball into the area now. Going to drop to Blundell, and that, not the strike they were looking for. Just seemed to get under that. And yeah, not what she would have wanted. Ryan says, would be a good time to break a 2-year no-goal streak. What was that, Tottenham against Arsenal? For even that long. Yeah. Header forwards. Drops for Hasegawa. Need forwards. By Miyazawa. Now down the line. Bene, good hold up. Into Clinton. Back now to Kasperai. Oh yeah. Has been a while since Tottenham scored a goal against Arsenal. It was December 2023, so yeah, it would be coming up. It would be over 2 years if they don't score tomorrow. I saw something as well. Leicester haven't won away in it'll be 2 years or something stupid like that if they don't win away soon. Something like that. I've clicked on the men's, it doesn't help. But yeah, they haven't won away in ages. And they drew with West Ham. So it would be I think it's coming up to 2 years since they won away. They got Brighton tomorrow. So hopefully they'll try and end that streak. But the next away match after that is Tottenham in January, and then Arsenal. And then Man City. Might only be a year. I think it was 2 years though. Set your free kick, Yamashita. Looking to send it long. Ball goes forward, flicked on. Lohman then. Getting the next contact here is Letitia. Came a headers. And now Lohman. Rolfo around the corner into Miyazawa. Now Zigiotti poking it towards Mallard. Cleared away by Uaha. We are now over that 97 minute. We did have a stoppage within the 97. And now ball through to Middleton Patel. Letitia. Blundell. Janssen. Clipping it forwards, looking for Rachel Williams. Knack too aggressive, no attempts to win back the ball. And well, the full-time whistle can't be far away now. Blundell. Here is Mallard. Harvey does well. Back now though to Rebecca Knack. For Gino. Harvey. Sends it forward. Miedemar holds it up. Releases Sidney Lohman in behind, who tries to poke it on. Again, though, it comes to nothing. That's out for a Manchester United goal kick. But yeah, long day. Long day for United. A 7-point gap now between Manchester City and Manchester United. And Harvey is down here. Well, it's gone off actually with a nosebleed. I don't know if they'll bother putting her back into the action with how long is left in this game. And it's the full-time whistle beckons. United come forwards. Not that it matters for much now. Sandberg. Rolfo. Onto Sandberg, ball in the box. Mallard heads considerably wide. Miedemar will get there. And that is the full-time whistle here at the Etihad Stadium. Good job as well, because the second half timer's just stopped working. And what a win. What a win at home for the citizens. United blown out the water. Unfortunately, because of all the added time that's added on, I am going to have to shoot. But thank you guys very much for watching. We will be back on Tuesday with our weekend roundup. We'll have a full analysis of this game as well coming this week, unless something dramatic happens tomorrow that's more interesting to cover. So look out for that on Wednesday. Tuesday, weekend roundup. Look out for all that good stuff. That, though, is everything. I've got to shoot. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time.